as the most anticipated fight between Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov finally came to an end. Let's see what the community had said before the fight.
Do you think the Crawford-Canelo fight is killed now with this performance, or you think it could still happen?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it should have looked a little bit more spectacular. But yeah, like I said, the weight, it's a big weight difference. Yeah, I don't see that fight happening either.
What do you think? Did you give it a tough fight? Nice to meet you.
Crawford is fucking trash. Don't ever compare Crawford to Canelo again. Shout out young Triple G. He fucking did his shit. I felt he won. At least a draw. F the judges. F you weirdos. You guys suck. And f Crawford, you're not pound for pound. Suck. You never fought nobody good. You fought Spence that had a car accident. F you, bitch.
What's up, bro? Hey.
Very close fight.
Yeah?
Yep.
Did you have Israil winning?
But it was a very interesting fight, very smart fight.
Did you feel Israil did enough to win?
No, it's, how about compare my fight with Haney? Madrimov was a champion.
Yeah.
So it's enough for win the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should sit right there. Okay, sit right here. Let me get this. No, I'm gonna get you. Daddy, real quick, what'd you think of Madrimov?
No, listen, fought a good fight, a controlled fight, a smart fight, very contained fight, very disciplined fight. Gave himself a chance. And he landed right hands against the southpaw stance, which, you're supposed to throw right hands when you see a southpaw. But Crawford won the fight, but it was a fight that made Crawford, obviously extended to himself to where, he had to, he had a real fight on his hands. But Crawford showed how special he is.
So you agree? Do you think the decision was appropriate?
Man, for me, that was a hard fight to judge. Some of those early rounds lacked, a lot of back and forth action, but they were computing a lot of data. So in those early rounds, it was hard for me to tell. I did think Terence won the 12th round. And, tonight I was kind of watching as a fan. I thought it was a close fight, but, I thought Terence did enough to pull out the victory with him winning the last round, because I thought it was about even going into that.
I think he's in trouble when he fights Canelo, I'll tell you right now.
Not call out Canelo.
No. After that, I don't think so. Hey, Madrimov's a bad though. He's a bad dude. The whole night was raped, though. Good to see you, Alec. Who won? I'm fighting out
Crawford
right now.
just won by decision, unanimous. Do you agree with the decision?
Congratulations, Crawford. Yeah, no, he deserved it. It was just a tough fight, though. It was a real fight, close fight.
Yeah, I heard you a second ago. Not a smart idea for him against Canelo, huh?
I don't think so. I think just the weight discrepancy. I think Canelo might be a little too much. Not to take anything away from Crawford. I just think the size difference. And Canelo put that pressure, and it'll be tough. But you never know.
What you think of the fight, Polo?
It was a good fight, man. Decent fight, man.
You think Terence deserved the decision, or was it closer than that?
For sure, I think he deserved it.
Polo, I gotta ask you, because it's a hot topic, Polo. Any message for Vlad?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit nervous in the third, maybe four, but once he started getting that rhythm on his body and that confidence more, even if he still got hit a little bit more, but he was start winning the rounds. He started landing more punches and his rhythm got better too. Man, he is just awesome fighter, man. He's smart, his movement so good, even his counter too. Yeah. He was landing some good right hand with his timing. But but he's a better boxer, and he was trying to bang also, and I think he was getting the best part in the banging part.
Eddie Hearn thought Terence Crawford might struggle because he's moving up in weight to fight Israil Madrimov.
This is definitely, in my opinion, the toughest fight of his career so far. One, because of how good Madrimov is, but two, because of the weight class.
Eddie was worried about Terence Crawford fighting Israil Madrimov. He thought Crawford might not be fully focused because he's thinking about other fights. Eddie believed if Madrimov hits Crawford with a good punch, it could end the fight for Crawford.
I've got bad feelings for Terence Crawford against Israil Madrimov.
Really?
Because whenever you're talking, all I hear is Crawford Canelo. Crawford boots, Crawford this. Like, he is fighting the biggest puncher he's ever faced on August 3rd, right? You know, people have been sending me stuff about where he got buzzed by Mean Machine and, you know, all this kind of, like, I'm telling you now, if Crawford gets hit on the chin by Israil Madrimov, he is going to really, really know about it. So we'll see what happens. But I've got a real sneaky feeling for my guy on August 3rd. I really have. I think it's a really tough fight.
Hearn also thought that Madrimov will be Crawford's toughest opponent because Madrimov is very skilled and Crawford is moving up a weight class to fight him. Hearn said, "This is definitely the toughest fight of Crawford's career so far. 1, because of how good Madrimov is, but 2, because of the weight class. You know, you're talking about a guy who started at 35, moving to 40, 47, now 54. So I think this is a very tough fight for him. Crawford is a tremendous fighter. He's pound for pound great, but sometimes you move up too far and hopefully it's this Saturday." Hearn believed that this fight could be a major turning point in Madrimov's career and might propel him into the spotlight. He stated, "He's ready to knock out Terence Crawford in Los Angeles. This is the fight that turns Israil Madrimov into a superstar." Matthew Macklin thought Crawford is very talented and will eventually defeat Israil Madrimov during the fight. While he agreed that Madrimov is a strong fighter, Macklin believed that Crawford's experience and skill would be too overwhelming for him. He said, "I think Crawford will systematically break him down as the fight goes on. Madrimov could bring some physicality problems for Crawford as he is very strong and powerful, but he wastes a lot of energy at times, and I think Crawford will make Madrimov work hard every second of every round while conserves energy, and at the same time he'll bust him up with his jab and sicken him to the body every chance he gets. He might not stop Madrimov, who is very tough, but I think he'll take a bit of a beating down the stretch." Sean Porter had advised Israil to stick with what he knows and not try anything new. Porter thought Israil was a strong pressure fighter, but warned that just one mistake could let Crawford take advantage and end the fight.
So this is what Madrimov does well. He's a great pressure fighter. He brings the mental and the physical pressure. Do what you do and do it as great as you can do it. Don't try to divert from that and do anything else. That's what Crawford does, man. He gets you off your game, causes you to do some other things, and then you stumble.
Porter was asked how he thought the fight with Madrimov would turn out while standing next to Crawford. He spoke with Crawford and told him, "I watched some Madrimov, I think. That Terence, it always takes you a couple of rounds to see what these guys bring to you. I expect to see Madrimov in your face. I expect the stick to come out from Crawford. I expect him to start the fight orthodox. I think this is going to be a fun fight. You're going to have your hands full, but I think you will handle it. You always handle it. Some people are born to do what they do, and this kid is born to do what he do." Porter said that Crawford's mental strength was far better than that of other fighters. He believed that Crawford's excellent training routine allowed him to move up weight classes with ease.
There's 2 things with Terence Crawford, and the number 1 thing is his mental fortitude. The dude is just tough as you can't even compare his toughness, his mental toughness. He hears, "Oh, that guy's stronger than him." He's gonna in the ring on fight night. He instantly is going to want to show that he's stronger than the other guy. The other guy's faster, can move better. He's gonna want to show that he's better than whatever it is anybody has said this guy could be remotely close to being better than him in. And hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But the other thing, after the fight with Errol Spence Jr., he was saying, "I had a hard time making 147 pounds." Terence Crawford, very, very smart, intellectual when it comes to training, getting ready for his fights. He's been hitting weights for years. That's the thing that people didn't know about. So as he's moved up these different weight classes, he's already strong and physically muscular. And the endurance is there. The muscular strength is already there because he's built himself up to be in the weight class he belongs in.
Wayne McCulloch believed that Madrimov could cause an upset if he stayed close and protected his chin during the fight. However, McCulloch also thought that Crawford might knock out Madrimov in the 5th round. He stated, "Crawford won't have to go looking for Madrimov as his style has come straight forward, throwing wild overhand rights, but he also works close hooks to the body well. He does keep his hands up pretty high, but he is still open for shots. If Madrimov can stay close and keep his chin covered, trying to outwork Crawford, he has a chance of winning. Crawford should use his southpaw right hooks to the head and left uppercuts to the body on Madrimov. If he does this, he could get a knockout around the 5th round, putting Madrimov down and out from a right hook to the head." Jamie Moore believed that many people were overlooking Madrimov. Moore acknowledged that Crawford was an outstanding fighter, but he warned that if Crawford underestimated Madrimov, he could find himself in serious trouble.
Yeah, for me, it's a 50-50. I don't think people are talking about him fighting Canelo next, and as if it's a foregone conclusion. There's no way I'd be overlooking Madrimov.
How big of a statement win would it be if, say, Terence goes out there, completely dominates or stops a Madrimov?
Huge statement in my book. And then, even though I still think Canelo's way too big and too talented for him, it actually puts a question mark over has he got a chance here, if that's the case. So it really will be a statement performance if he does that.
Virgil Ortiz Jr. predicted that Terence Crawford would secure an early knockout victory in his title fight against Israil Madrimov on August 3rd. He stated, "Madrimov is athletic, Madrimov is a beast, but Crawford is just a different beast. I don't think Madrimov beats Crawford. Crawford is up there with Usyk, Inoue on the pound-for-pound list, so I don't see Madrimov. And don't get me wrong, Madrimov is great, but Crawford is just on another level." Zab Judah claimed that Crawford would dominate Madrimov on Saturday. Judah was confident that Crawford would solve Madrimov's tactics and manage to finish him in the later rounds of the bout.
Real quick, what do you think about Crawford Madrimov?
I think Crawford gonna snatch his soul out.
Snatch his soul out? Do you think Madrimov's gonna put up any kind of fight?
I think he's gonna try to put up a good fight, but I think once Crawford figure out the style and figure out the timing, it's gonna be lights out.
Duke McKenzie believed that, despite Madrimov's talent, he would come up short against the more experienced Crawford on fight night. McKenzie felt that Crawford's extensive experience and skill would be too much for Madrimov to overcome. He stated, "This fight isn't as straightforward as many believe. Madrimov is young and starving for victory. This really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him to fight a modern-day great in the form of Terence Crawford, a two-time undisputed world champion. Those credentials don't come along very often, even in the modern-day era. While I see Madrimov giving a great account of himself, how do you beat a man with no obvious flaws? A switch-hitting genius, there is no blueprint on how to outbox or outpunch Crawford, and there are not enough superlatives to describe Crawford. Madrimov is the WBA champion and won't go down without a fight. I see Crawford winning via wide, unanimous points decision." Roy Jones Jr. believed that Crawford's move to the 154-pound weight class was the best decision for him. He predicted that Crawford would win the fight and suggested that Crawford could potentially become an undisputed champion for the third time. Jones felt that this move would play a crucial role in Crawford's continued success in the sport.
I heard they're gonna announce Crawford this Wednesday to fight Madrimov.
Who?
Madrimov, the WBA junior middleweight champion.
Right.
154 pounds. What do you think about that fight?
I think Bud wins the fight.
Saudi?
I think it's a good fight for Bud. I love the fact that he's going to 54. He keeps going up the ladder. He's doing a great thing, you know? There it is.
Possible that he might get the WBO also involved. He might take it from Dora.
That'd be good if he does.
Tony Bello was a big admirer of WBA light middleweight champion Israil Madrimov, but still believed that Madrimov would fall short against Terence Crawford. Bello acknowledged Madrimov's impressive skills and talent, but felt that Crawford's superior experience and technical prowess would be too overwhelming. He said that despite Madrimov's potential, Crawford's abilities would likely secure him the victory. Bello stated, "I'd find it hard to back against Madrimov against most opponents, but Crawford is something special. You're looking at one of the best fighters of his generation, and he's not showing any signs of slowing down. Madrimov is an excellent fighter with many great qualities. And you've heard Eddie Hearn talk about how good he is. He might have some good moments in the fight, but Crawford is on another level to most fighters, and I think he'll win again." Teddy Atlas was keen on his thoughts about Crawford, as he thought Crawford is best at any weight. He said that he'll never go against Crawford because he thought Crawford has the ability to be the best at any weight.
Crawford is special. I never will go against Crawford. That man is special. He's special in every way, technically, physically, and the most important way, inside himself, in his mind. He doesn't believe anyone could beat him, and nobody's convincing me that they can, or him.
Chris Algieri anticipated that Israil Madrimov would give Terence Crawford a tough challenge when they faced each other on fight night. Algieri expected Madrimov to push Crawford to his limits and make it a demanding contest. He stated, "I think Israil Madrimov has the right idea. The Joel Diaz aspect is really important. If he brings his best version of himself, he's very much a threat to even the great Terence Crawford." However, Chris believed that despite Madrimov's talent and impressive power, he lacks the experience that Terence Crawford possesses. Algieri also noted that Crawford's association with Turki Al-Sheikh would prove to be very beneficial for him. Though talented, Madrimov doesn't have Crawford's profile or experience, so many, myself included, will expect Crawford to win. Turki Al-Sheikh's ability to broker these types of fights will also have delivered to Crawford the money his status deserves. Bozy Ennis was not already impressed with Madrimov's defensive skills. After watching some of Madrimov's fights, he remarked that if Madrimov approached Crawford aggressively, it could lead to a quick end to the bout. Ennis believed that Madrimov's defensive shortcomings would be exploited by Crawford, leading to a potentially early finish.
I don't see that boy beating Terence, man, at all. I don't see him beating out there. I mean, the guy, he can punch. I mean, that's what I see. All I see is he can punch. And you know what I mean, his defense is not that tight to me. You know what I mean? They say he moved, but I didn't see him. I seen a few fighters, a few of his fights. But I ain't see all that much movement. You know what I mean? I seen him coming forward a lot. You know what I mean? He do that with Terence, I think it's gonna be a night-night.
Retired former light heavyweight champion Antonio Tarver commented that Terence "Bud" Crawford has selected a challenging opponent for his debut in the junior middleweight division. Tarver suggested that if Crawford emerged victorious, it could pave the way for a significant matchup against Canelo Alvarez. He stated that such a win could create a major opportunity for Crawford to face one of boxing's biggest stars. You got to take your hat off for Crawford for choosing one of the toughest guys in the division. I think Crawford wants to make a statement. When you look at this guy, he looks like he's just a few pounds away from a Canelo build. He's going to be a strong guy. His arms are long. The way he fights, there's no real rhythm there, but he just goes left-handed and right-handed, and he's got power in both hands. Tarver further added that Crawford would be able to neutralize Madrimov's power with his quick movement and speed in the ring. Tarver said that Crawford's agility and fast footwork would allow him to effectively counter Madrimov's strengths. One thing he has is power, but I believe Terence has so many things in his bag. I think he's going to fight off his talent. Don't go in there and bang with a banger. As long as he can deploy a good defensive strategy and make sure he doesn't take no necessary shots, I think he can control him. He's not that fast. He's not that quick. He's a little plodding almost, so Crawford should have the speed on him. And I think once he finds his rhythm and his timing, I think Crawford will be able to do what he wants to do. Dmitry Bivol considered the fight to be extremely challenging for Crawford and expressed his respect for him taking on such a tough opponent. Despite his admiration for Crawford's bravery, Bivol mentioned that he would be supporting Madrimov. He explained that Madrimov was part of his team, and he hoped Madrimov would be able to win against Crawford.
It's a very hard fight for Crawford, to be honest, and I respect Crawford. I put him on one of the best fighter in the world, but I will cheering for Madrimov. He's from my team, and Madrimov could able, to be honest, win this fight. He really could.
Crawford's teammate Shakur Stevenson also affirmed that Bud could definitely maintain his powerful knockout ability as he moved up in weight based on their sparring sessions with Andre Ward. He said that Crawford's performance in those sessions demonstrated his ability to carry his formidable power into higher weight classes. Honestly, I think that Bud beats anybody who he gets in the ring with, even at a higher weight class. I think he's got all the tools and ability to beat anybody and everybody. Shakur also emphasized Crawford's power, noting that he had observed Crawford hurting fighters weighing 200 pounds in the gym. Shakur added that this demonstrated Crawford's ability to deliver significant impact even against much larger opponents. He's got punching power, boxing IQ, boxing skills, and footwork. There's nothing he can't do in the ring, so I think he'd be a hard task for anybody. Another thing, his punching power translates to another weight class. I've been in the gym and seen him hurt a heavyweight, a $200 plus dude. Former world champion Joe Cordina remarked that while Crawford is an exceptional fighter in peak form, he lacked serious competition. Cordina stated that Crawford is the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world at the moment and has the versatility to fight in various styles. He predicted that Crawford would secure the victory.
Very good fighter, great fighter. Strong, fit, fast, awkward angles, but Crawford's pound for pound, isn't he? For me. He can do it all, fight, he can punch, he can box, he can switch stance and box evenly as good as either way, so yeah, I'd have to go towards Crawford on that one.
However, Crawford's trainer, Brian Bomac McIntyre, shared his perspective on how he anticipated the fight against Madrimov would unfold. He believed that Crawford was strong enough to compete effectively with larger opponents. He stated that Crawford's strength and skills would enable him to handle the challenges posed by fighting in a higher weight class. Looking at Madrimov and his previous fight and just knowing Terence, it's going to be a pull and tug first couple of rounds, and then Terence is going to start walking away with the fight. McIntyre's confidence was rooted in a training camp where Crawford prepared extensively for the best version of Madrimov. He felt that this thorough preparation ensured Crawford was fully ready to face the challenges Madrimov would present. Madrimov is different. He's strong. He's determined. He's the champion. So you gotta train a little different. You gotta work on things a little different to prepare for a guy like that. Jim Lampley believed that there was nothing Terence Crawford couldn't do. He stated that it was impossible to dictate to Crawford what he could or should do. Lampley thought that Crawford was capable of anything and described him as the most determined and stubborn fighter he had ever seen.
I would never tell Terence Crawford he can't do anything. There's no... If Terence Crawford told me, I'm going to become a light heavyweight and I'm going to fight David Benavidez, I would say Terence knows better than I do. what he can do. I mean, does it make any sense? No, it doesn't make any logical sense. So at the end of the day, we can speculate all we want about what he can do or what he should do, but nobody's going to decide this other than Terence Crawford. He is willful, he is stubborn, he is self-possessed, he is possessed of enormous self-belief. He is as confident as any person I've ever met. If I tell Terence Crawford, you can't drive your Ferrari from this intersection to the next one, he's going to get into the Ferrari and prove to me that I'm wrong. So I look forward to seeing whether Terence can prove everybody wrong about what he can or should do. And I also look forward to finding out whether Canelo Alvarez wants that fight.
Madrimov's trainer, Joel Diaz, felt that planning for Crawford to fight Canelo Alvarez next was a mistake because Madrimov was far from an ordinary opponent. He pointed out that many casual boxing fans were not familiar with Madrimov, having never seen him fight, while they were well acquainted with the 36-year-old Crawford due to his long career and numerous ESPN broadcasts. Diaz believed that people often favor the known fighter and view the lesser-known Madrimov as merely a stepping stone for Crawford. Joel Diaz stated that Crawford would experience Madrimov's power firsthand when he landed his shots on August 3rd. I know there's a lot of plans for Terence Crawford to fight Canelo. You can't count on that. Let this fight happen. They're Crawford not stepping in the ring with an average fighter. This guy Madrimov is a world champion. With his experience, anything can happen. After this fight on August 3rd, they're going to know who Israil Madrimov is. Robert Garcia already thought that it was a great fight. He believed that Crawford was taking Madrimov as an easy opponent, but he thought that Madrimov had the ability to turn the fight upside down.
Man, you know what? I think it's gonna be a great fight. I think Madrimov puts up a great fight. I picked Crawford to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if Madrimov pulls it up because Crawford's already looking into bigger fights. He might be taking this lightly. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. But at the end, I think they put up a great fight.
We saw some unforgettable moments tonight, and it's clear that boxing continues to deliver excitement and drama in every round. So, what do you think about tonight's fight? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.